Hi, I'm Professor Susan DeGise. This tutorial is on Practice 1.6. Directions. Based on the given note that equals 1, write the note values of the other notes. For a sample, see example 1.6.4. I'm actually going to do the first row right now. You're welcome to follow along, or if you feel comfortable, go ahead and answer all 3 rows on your own. Pause the video and press play when you're ready. My students like to draw out the chart when doing exercises like this. So we're going to start with a 16th note and move to an 8th note, then a quarter note, then a half note, and a whole note. We see that a quarter note is equal to 1, so we're going to put 1 here. Moving this way, note values will be twice as long. So a half note is worth 2, and a whole note is worth 4. Moving this way, note values are half. So an 8th note is worth half, and half of this is a 4th. Number 1A is a dotted quarter note. So a quarter note here is equal to 1, we can see. And then we need to add a dot, which is worth half of 1. So half of 1 is half. So 1 plus half is 1.5. 1B. We see that it's asking for a dotted half note. And here we see a half note is equal to 2. The dot means you're going to add half the value of this. So what's half of 2? 1. So 2 plus 1 equals 3. And a dotted whole note, we see a whole note is worth 4. And the dot means you add half the value of this. So what's half of 4? 2. So 4 plus 2 is 6. If you haven't already, go ahead and do the second and third rows on your own. Pause the video and press play when you're ready. Okay, so I'm going to start with the chart. So I'll go write it here. 16th note, 8th note, quarter note, half note, whole note. Here, a half note is equal to 1. So I'll put 1 here. Moving this way, we know a whole note is worth 2. Moving this way, this is worth half, a 4th, and an 8th. All right, so number 2A is asking for a dotted quarter note. We see that a quarter note is worth half. So we're going to put half here. And the dot is, you're going to add half of half. So if you're not sure with the fractions, just go this way in the chart. Half of half is a 4th. So we're going to add a half plus a 4th. Now with fractions, we can't just add them this way. What we need is a common denominator, meaning that the bottom number has to be the same. So we're going to change the first number, half, to a number with 4 on the bottom. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to go 1/2, and we need to change it to something with 4 on the bottom. So 2 times 2 equals 4, right? So we're going to also times 2 here. So what's 1 times 2? That would be 2. So when we rewrite this, we can say it's 2/4 plus 1/4. Okay? 2/4 plus 1/4 is 3/4. So a dotted quarter is worth 3/4. Moving on to 2B, we see a half note is equal to 1. Half of 1 is half. So 1 plus half is 1.5. And now moving to 2C, it's asking for a dotted 8th. We see here that the 8th note is worth a 4th. Now we need to add half of a fourth. Remember, we can look here. Half of a fourth is an eighth. Now again, we need a common denominator or the same bottom number. So what we're going to do is we're going to rewrite 1/4 so that the bottom number is 8. So in order to get 4 to become 8, we need to times 2. So similarly, we're going to go 1 times 2 equals 2. So 2/8 plus 1/8 would equal 3/8. And now the last row. I'm going to draw out my chart again. So 16th, 8th, quarter, half, whole. Now an eighth note is equal to 1. So moving this way, a quarter is 2, a half note is 4, a whole note is 8. And moving this way, a 16th note is half. A dotted quarter, we find our quarter note here. A quarter note is going to be worth 2. The dot means add half. So what's half of 2? 1. So 2 plus 1 equals 3. Now an eighth note is going to be worth 1. And half of 1 is half. So 1 plus half is 1 1/2. And the last one is a dotted half note. So we see here that the half note is worth 4. 4. Now we need to add half of 4. So we're going to add 2. So 4 plus 2 is 6. All right, so I know many of you haven't taken math in a very long time, or math is difficult for you. So just break it down with the common denominator. If you want, rewatch this video or reread the section on 1.6. Remember, the best way to practice is to actively keep doing questions, answering questions, writing things out, not just reading and highlighting. You've now completed the tutorial for practice 1.6. Thank you for watching.